Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. My name is Barry Hudson. I'm the Communications Manager for County Executive for Sharon Baker. I'd like to thank you for joining us for the presentation, County Executive's presentation of the 2018 budget. So without further ado, I'm not going to get into a whole lot of introduction. I'm going to hand it over to our County Executive, the Honorable Rashawn L. Baker III.
Thank you. Barry, thank you for that long and detailed introduction. I appreciate it. I want to welcome everybody up here. It seems like just yesterday we were doing our budget presentation. We focused on cuts and overcoming tremendous deficits. In fact, as I was walking down here, I couldn't help remember the first budget that I did in the county. I think we had the podium over there, and I looked down and it had what our deficit was, and I froze. I couldn't actually speak. It was the first time I realized that, a very big county was on my shoulders and we had a lot to do. But despite those low revenues during those times, we were optimistic that better days were ahead. We knew that if we focused on making sound investments, that we would generate revenues for the county. And the payoff would be a stronger financial foundation. Well, this year's budget shows that our focus on key priorities was the right direction for us to take. I firmly believe that the approach that we took is why our economy is getting stronger, why our opportunities are greater, and why our stature around the region and the state has risen. Our communities and our neighborhoods are safer because we significantly reduce overall crime by 55% over the last 6 years. We have seen historic levels of economic development activity with over $9 billion with a B in development projects that are taking place or are in the pipeline. Our housing values are up 61% since 2010. Unemployment has dropped 50% since 2010. We have created 15,100 new jobs in the county since 2013. And when you add the 3,600 new jobs that MGM has, the county will have well over 18,000 new jobs that we've created. Dr. Maxwell, we've increased our high school graduation rates by 10%. And thanks to the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, we have reduced the number of uninsured Prince Georgians by 50%. We're going to build a regional medical center at Largo. And our Transforming Neighborhoods initiative, better known as T&I, is starting to be recognized not just in the state, but around the nation as a new approach to delivering government services. These results that we are seeing is what happens when you make key investments and you channel the resources where they have the greatest impact. Today, our financial position is strong, and we are clearly back on the right path. And for that, I am optimistic about what lies ahead for Prince George's County. I want to thank Thomas Himmler, our DCO for Budget, Finance, and Administration, and Terry Bacote Charles, our Director of Management and Budget, for once again doing a tremendous job in guiding us through this process. Their work and so many others is the reason why the county has maintained its AAA bond rating for 6 years in a row. If you think about it, this is a tremendous accomplishment considering where we were in 2010. So can we give Tom and Terry and Amber and their team a round of applause? I don't know if I thought that could have happened then. I also want to thank the people of this great county for coming out to our budget hearings, not just this year, but over the past 6 years, and advocating for your causes. I want you to know that we heard you and that your voice matters. Many of you know that I'm an avid reader of presidential biographies. And so I think there is a quote that we found from Thomas Jefferson that I think highlights how we've approached our fiscal and economic strategies over these last 6 years. Jefferson once said, "I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past." I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past. In 2010, we had declining real estate values, high foreclosure rates, high unemployment, rising crime rates, and limited government resources. We had a lot to overcome. But we did not fixate on our past history. We dreamed of a better future, and we created a way to get there. Last year, when I did my budget, I said at that time, this is the smallest deficit that we've had since I've been county executive. Well, this year, we have significantly reduced that. Actually, we reduced it big time, or bigly if you're the president. Sorry. I couldn't help it. They were like, don't put that in there. But it's amazing. I mean, our budget deficit is $4 million. That's right, $4 million. When Tom told me, and those of you know I'm, you're always straightforward and never try to be funny. When Thomas told me that our budget deficit was $4 million, I said, you got to be kidding me. $4 million is a long way from the $152 million that we face in 2014, or the $64 million budget deficit we faced last year. Folks, this is a tremendous accomplishment, not just for this administration, but more importantly for the people of Prince George's County. Now, are we where we want to be? No. But we are a lot closer than we were in 2010. And that is what happens when you stick to a solid plan and budget your priorities and make them clear. Our budget priorities have remained the same since 2012, which is to build a thriving economy, an excellent education system, safe neighborhoods, quality health care, effective human services, a clean and sustainable environment, and most important, a high-performance government operations. So we took these same priorities and principles to develop our 2018 budget, which has proposed operating funds for the county of $3.8 billion. That is an increase of $131 million over FY 2017. This increase is due to the county's revenues increasing by $114 million, or a 6.3% increase over last year. Our revenue growth is primarily driven by rising property values, increase in household incomes, and the reflection of a full year of the MGM revenues. Our overall FY 2018 general fund proposed budget represents an increase of $114 million over FY 2017, and the proposed general fund budget for FY 2018 includes $1.9 billion in county revenue sources and $1.3 billion in outside aid. This proposed revenues this is the proposed revenues we have to fund our FY 2018 budget. And so here are some of the highlights of that, the budget we're proposing to the council. Under economic development, you've heard me say over these last years that we have to diversify our revenues and expand our commercial tax base by investing in activities that will encourage future growth. With residential and commercial property values up, as well as our medium household income, it is clear that our economy is in full recovery, and continued investment in economic development to maintain this positive trend is key. In this budget, the Conference and Visitors Bureau will receive additional funding to enhance our efforts to market the county. According to the latest report for tourism economics, Prince George's County is number 2 in the state in tourism economic spending. This is great news for our growing travel and tourism industry. And the funding in this budget will help enable us to tell our story, to bring more people to our county, and to attract more businesses. Our very successful Economic Development Incentive Fund, or as we call it, EDI, will have $9 million in FY 2018 to continue its great work to attract and retain jobs. Our Revenue Authority will have capital funds to build and renovate 2 parking structures, one at Hyattsville and the other in New Carrollton. These 2 areas that have seen significant growth in the county. In FY 2018, we will see the start of one of my favorite projects, the Town Square at Suitland Federal Center, with new urban townhomes. Thomas tells me they'll be just like the ones you see in Bethesda and other areas around the region that are growing, right there in our Federal Center at Suitland. As a county, we will also be investing $22 million in funding to the Suitland Town Center for new public infrastructure. To extend residential market recovery and expand the stock of workforce housing, Director Brown, the FY 2018 budget will include $5 million to invest in the county's Housing Investment Trust Fund. $2.5 million, that deserves a round of applause. Workforce. $2.5 million of that, those investments will go toward the county's Pathway to Purchase program, which means for us, 150 more residents will have the opportunity to become homeowners in Prince George's County in FY 2018. The remaining $2.5 million will be used to leverage that with private sector so we make more and more people homeowners in our great county. That is good news. Education. Job and employments are grounded in people having a quality education. Those of you who know me know how committed I am to making our public school system not only the best in this state, but the best in the nation. As long as I'm county executive, I will never waver from my quest to make our public school system our calling card. We must create 21st century learning environments for our teachers and our students. In addition, we have to remain focused on student achievement and graduation rates. In other words, we have to make lifelong learning investments. I want to say that again. We as a county have to make lifelong learning investments. That is why this year's budget will invest in education by funding it to the tune of $1.96 billion, which is an increase of $39.1 million over last year's budget. Is it everything the superintendent wants? No, but we're inching closer. In fact, the county's increase in this budget is $739 million, which means the county's portion that we're giving to our education system is $40 million increase over last year. One of those investments that we will be making together with the school system is to aggressively attack graduation rates. Much like how we've targeted resources in our T&I areas, we are targeting our strategies and our resources to improving on our graduation rates, which are great. I am proposing that we invest $4.7 million to improve the graduation rates at 4 of our area high schools: Bladensburg High School, Central High School, and High Point High School and Northwestern High School. Although we have seen a tremendous progress in our education system, our academic progress, and our graduation rates around the county, these 4 schools need additional resources. And I believe by aggressively working with them, we not only improve the graduation rates for those systems, but we help the entire school system and thereby the entire state. In addition to teaching and learning investments, we are going to make capital improvements. We're excited about the construction and the completion of this year of the new Fairmont Heights High School. And congratulations, Dr. Maxwell, to the Fairmont Heights boys basketball team, the Hornets, for winning the 1A boys basketball championship. We will begin the planning. I see my children in the back, both graduates of Suitland High School. So everyone knows that Suitland is one of my favorites. I am pleased that we will begin the planning of the new Suitland High School complex, as well as the demolition and replacement of William Worth Middle School. David's saying, his T&I area. That is true, making a difference. We've talked about repairs, and we've heard it at town hall meetings about repairs in our school system. The aging structural system, I've been to Annapolis and asked for more money. We know is long overdue. And this year we will begin to work with you to make repairs at 38 of those high schools, because we're in a better position financially in the county to do that. But we know our education system is not just K through 12. It is higher education. We have one of the greatest, if it's not the greatest, community college in this state and in the nation. And they have done phenomenal work. I am pleased that we're able to increase our community college budget. And we will be giving the community college recommending $112.5 million, which is an increase of $4.5 million. There's a board back there. What I'm really pleased about, thank you, Howard. What I'm really pleased about is that we will be using $1.7 million for what is called the new Promise Scholarship Program. Thank you. Just think about it. That program is meant for 500 county residents who will now have the opportunity to complete their higher education quest. How much better does it get? But we understand with expanding enrollment, there needs to be expanding infrastructure. And we're also going to invest in the facilities in our community college. We're building right now the new culinary facility. If you go down 202, you'll see it over there. It's phenomenal. That means all those hotels and restaurants and places like that, we're going to actually have our kids, our babies, working in those places and train right here in Prince George's County. How great is that? The other leg of our education system, and a phenomenal one it's been, and a real partner, is our public library system. It is an important component of our education system. That is why this year we're increasing the funding to we're increasing the funding and we're investing $29.8 million, which is an increase of $1.8 million over last year. And we will continue to focus on lifelong learning with the program that we are excited about. I know Thomas Himmler really is. It's Books from Birth. In this program, what we hope to do, our goal is to reach 7,200 children under the age of 5 who will start to get books from us, from our library system, their own books, so that we can start those young minds on their path and journey as lifelong learners, making them ready for the time that they enter into our schools, giving them the same opportunities that my children have and many of your children have. That is going to be great for our county. We will continue to build and design and construct new libraries throughout our county. The areas we will focus on this year in this budget are Hyattsville, Bladensburg, and Surrattsville and Clinton. And we will continue in the budget the renovation of the New Carrollton Branch Library. These are the type of investments we must make in our county system to make our students and our county competitive in the region and in the world. We've also talked a lot about, or I have, about public safety. And we have made tremendous strides in reducing crime and saving lives. But we must continue to invest in public safety if we are going to continue that progress. That is why in this budget, we will be hiring 200 new police officers, 115 fire EMS officers, 70 new correction officers, 25 sheriff's deputies, and we are also proposing for the state's attorney's office 2 new special prosecutors to assist with child sex abuse cases. This administration has had a consistent track record of investing in public safety because the safety of our residents is paramount. The safety of our residents are paramount, but also the health of our residents. The health of our residents is critically important, just as their safety is. And over the last few years, domestic and family violence has continued to be an issue in Prince George's County. To deal with this, we will continue our $1 million investment that we started last year in domestic violence intervention programs. Last year, we created partnerships with our community partners and our domestic violence advocates. It is working well, but in order to continue to make progress, we must invest in it, and we will. A program, that initiative that we're starting that I'm excited, is to assist residents who have developmental disabilities in finding fulfilling employment. That is why we are proposing to implement a developmental disabilities apprenticeship initiative. Through this initiative, developmental disabled residents will participate in a training program to prepare them for county jobs. We look forward to launching this program, which will provide an opportunity for 10 individuals to become county employees. Wouldn't that be great? Thank you. The construction of our new regional medical center is scheduled to take place in the fall of 2017, and it will take place. We will continue to demand that the state live up to its obligation and put funding in the budget this year for the operation of the dimensions and also for the capital. Just like we are living up to our obligation in the county in this proposed budget by including $15 million for the operating budget for the Mentions healthcare system. This regional medical center will not only impact the county in terms of our health outcomes, but also economically. It is important for the county, it is important for the state, and we're going to make sure it happens. Under our Department of Public Works and Transportation, we can improve the quality of life of our residents by making sure our roads are safe. To that end, the planning, and this is one where we can tell the residents, we hear you and we heard you. Our planning will begin on the new South County Road Improvement Project. This project will provide funding to address the traffic congestions and better accommodate the economic development growth we see in the southern portion of our county. But we will also put money in the budget to address and replace and rehabilitate several of our bridges throughout our 500 square miles. We're excited about putting money in the budget this year for a bike share program, which is once again, we hear you and we heard you. I see him back there clapping. A bike share program in Rhode Island Avenue corridor and at National Harbor. Imagine you can get your bike at National Harbor, go across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge and come back, or bike down Route 1. This is going to be phenomenal, and we're excited about that. I talked about what it was like when I came in here in 2010. Part of that was to ask government agencies and employees, one, every agency to take a 5% cut. It's hard. Brand new county executive, many of the employees didn't know me. Some of them didn't support me, as hard as that is to believe. But we asked them to work harder with less and work smarter. And they did it. And I applaud them for sticking with us and serving the citizens of this great county. I'm pleased that this year we can actually say a little thank you. And that is by proposing an increase in compensation for our county employees who really deserve it. And it's a way, yes, that deserves a round. We have county employees here at this press conference. Those are some of the highlights of the 2018 budget. By focusing on our future, we built a foundation that is intended to protect us. We didn't fixate on our past history. We dreamed of a better future, and we created a way to get there. Thank you, and thank you for coming to this hearing. Thank you. Now, as some of you may not know, someone who's very special to us this is her last budget presentation in the county. And when you think about the AAA bond rating, and you think about just think back to, 2014 when we had a $152 million deficit, and we asked agencies to cut their women and manpower by 5%. And I got extra security because I was afraid. This young lady didn't have that. Terry, if you can come on. Our director of OMB. Terry, oh, yes. Come on, Terry. Amber. Good. Thank you very much. We look forward to passing this to the council. This is one of my favorite days as county executive, the end of it. Because on the Ides of March, I get to pass it to Caesar. No. But thank you for coming out. I think I got away without.